These are HeLa cells. Over the past several decades, these amazing beauties have contributed enormously to our understanding of human biology through their use in a wide range of scientific studies. Vaccine development, cancer research, drug discovery, and genetics enlightenment have all been significantly advanced in recent years, largely thanks to the cells they call HeLa. And they continue to be an important tool for scientists today. However, you may be wondering, where on earth did these biological phenomena come from? Who was behind these mystery cells? What is the story behind HeLa? Tonight, we will take you through a deep dive on how these cells came to be, as well as how cell biology seamlessly connects with the interesting story of the family these cells threw into the spotlight. Hi, I'm Ron Dingle, and welcome to the Immortal Legacy, HeLa cells and the intertwining of the Lax family. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy. Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, the birthplace of the national anthem, the home of the Ravens and Orioles, and the city with the best crab cakes. It is also home to Johns Hopkins Hospital, a renowned medical center that was founded in 1889 to provide care to anyone, regardless of age, gender, or race. In the summer of 1951, a 31-year-old African-American woman named Henrietta Lacks was diagnosed with cervical cancer at this very same hospital. Little did she know that her cancer cells would become one of the most important tools in medical research. Howard Jones was the gynecologist working the case, and he still remembers everything like it was yesterday.
Man, that tumor was something else, I tell you. Ever since cut the bad boy and handed off to the guy, those cells, those HeLa cells, never stopped growing. They have been used to develop the polio vaccine, study the effects of radiation, and even map the human genome. Back in my day, they even went to the moon. In all honesty, they have been a cornerstone of biomedical research for over half a century.
That guy Jones refers to is known as George Guy, the scientist who was able to use Henrietta's tumor cells to create the world's first ever human immortal cell line. As of today, there are about 55 million tons of these cells that have been used in over 75,000 scientific studies around the world. To say this was a breakthrough in cellular biology would be a massive understatement. But, as with most things, there is some controversy attached. In her book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, Rebecca Skloot uncovers how Henrietta's cells affected her loved ones in not such a positive light.
Thank you for having me today. Henrietta's cells were taken without her knowledge or her consent, and they were unlike any other cells that had ever been seen before. They were incredibly robust and could multiply indefinitely in the lab, which made them perfect for research.
You heard that right. Henrietta never gave permission for her cells to be taken, and the doctors didn't bother to ask. To make matters worse, years after her death, Hopkins geneticist Victor McCusick and his postdoctoral fellow, Susan Chu, took blood from her children and husband, David Lacks, without properly explaining to them what they were being tested for.
Those doctors never asked me if they could take those cells from my wife. I guess she was sick one day, then all of a sudden she was burnt from the waist down, and then she was gone. Then I was asked if mine and my kids' blood could be taken to test if we had the same bug that killed Henrietta. But once we gave it all, we never heard nothing back. It was a travesty.
These testimonies shine light on the first way in which the science of cell biology and the Lacks family counter one another: communication, or lack thereof. Consent laws were pretty much non-existent back during Henrietta's operation, so when the doctors took her cells without asking, they probably didn't think much of it. But by the time those cells started miraculously growing, traveling by mail, and supplying HeLa factories worldwide, it had been nearly 22 years since the woman's death, and not a single soul in her family knew exactly how she died or that her cells were changing the field of science. By the time Henrietta was uncovered as the woman behind the cells in the early 1970s, many in the family felt shocked, upset, and betrayed, including one of her own sons.
You know, I think those damn cells have made my life a hell. They are the reason I am the way I am. I'm just so angry I never got a chance to see my mother. All those doctors and clinics just want to take, and some more for us without ever giving us an explanation. Just makes me so angry talking about it. Get this damn camera out of my face.
Others in the family saw it all through a spiritual lens. They believed that Henrietta was still literally alive through those cells, and that God had granted her a second life, highlighting another key counterpoint between the rigid science of cell biology and the mystical mindset of the Laxes.
Henrietta's cells are still living. I know these men in white coats trying to come in here telling everybody that science is what keeping them alive, but I know the real reason why they keep multiplying: through God himself. Henrietta is immortal, and those cells are a testament to that. She was such an angel walking amongst us all that when it was time to go, God granted her immunity from leaving this earth. She is still living. Amen.
Well, whether you choose to believe it being an act of science or an act of God, there's one thing you can't deny about HeLa cells, and that is the amount of money that's been generated from them. Within just 2 years of Henrietta's death, a company named Microbiological Associates began selling the cells for profit. Today, scientists can buy HeLa cells and cells with modifications for anywhere from $400 to thousands of dollars per vial. But here's the real kicker. According to Benjamin L. Crump and Christopher A. Seeger, attorneys representing the Lax's estate, the family has not received any compensation for the use of Henrietta's cells by biotech or pharmaceutical companies since their inception. While those in cell biology get richer, many members of the Lax family ironically can't even afford health insurance, a field their mother has helped propel to new heights. Is that right? Sir Lord Kean Kester Cofield didn't think so. He attempted to sue Johns Hopkins Hospital to get justice for the Laxes. In an exclusive one-on-one interview with him, we were able to find the motive behind his desire for trying to help the family.
Hello, yes, I approached the Lax family offering my legal services free of charge. I wanted to help them rectify their mama, as any studious and intelligent man such as myself would have been more than happy to do so. But when that darn Johns Hopkins Hospital spat on my good name and forced the family to have nothing to do with me, I did what any normal patriot would have done. I decided to sue them both.
While it's clear this imposter was in it solely for the purpose of stealing a quick buck, Henrietta's daughter Deborah was trying to use cell biology as a way to feel closer to her mother. It's here where we begin to recognize the synergies between the science of HeLa and the story of the Lax family. You see, each time Rebecca and Deborah went on a reporting adventure throughout the making of the book, Deborah got the rare opportunity to learn about who her mom was and what was so special about her cells. The more they climbed that mountain of knowledge, the closer they got to the peak. And the closer they got to the peak, the more intense and excited Deborah became.
There was a moment, at a certain point, I could definitely start to see the emotional strain that the reporting was taking on Deborah. During one of the nights we were together, she slammed me against the wall with a thundering force. It definitely took me off guard. I almost left right then and there and abandoned the entire story. But there was a voice in my head that when I took a deep breath, I realized how emotionally charged she was. And finding out about her mother and sister, I just took it as a sign that we have to keep going. Gotta keep pushing this book forward.
And push forward they did. Although Deborah sadly passed away a year before the book was published, she pushed through an episode of body hives, chronic high blood pressure, and a traumatic stroke to find out things about her mom that she didn't know before. I guess in a way, Henrietta's cells and Deborah were one and the same, resilient life forms with a knack of never giving up. Cell biology has also played a role in helping the Lax family make strides in getting out of generational poverty.
Davon just graduated from high school and promised his grandmother Deborah he was going to college, and Lawrence and Bobette's granddaughter Erica is on her way to Penn State. I guess in a way, the intricacies of cell biology played a role in starting to get this family out of generational poverty. Although I miss my mother dearly, I know that this was a gift she was intending on leaving behind for all of us.
With the making of the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks, Rebecca was able to help not just Deborah, but nearly everyone in the family learn more about the amazing woman behind HeLa cells. Skloot was changed as well. The relationship she managed to form with everyone involved in the book will stay with her forever.
During my time gathering the materials for this book, I definitely got to know the vibrant family that is the Lax. I got to know them more than I ever thought I would, and I opened up things to them about their mother that they would have never found out otherwise. I think they changed my life as much as I changed theirs, honestly. I was just never the same.
Rebecca was also able to do something we never thought possible: help Zachariah soften up. The poor lad used to be so frustrated and full of disdain at the thought of those cells, but ever since Rebecca took him to see Austrian scientist Christoph Langauer and have him explain the science behind his mother's gift to the world, he has been in a much better place.
When Miss Rebecca came along, I'll admit I was a little apprehensive. I stewed at the thought of another reporter trying to come and take more from us. But when I got the DNA picture that Australian doctor gave me, the one showing the colorful patterns of my mom's cells, I hate to say it, but I softened up a bit. Deborah and I especially learned so much about our mother, and that is all thanks to Miss Rebecca.
Now that is something you don't see every day. As he goes on in life, we are confident he will continue striving to make Deborah and his mother proud. Oh, I hope you enjoyed this story of biological advancement, ethical concern, and personal growth. No matter how you choose to look at it, there is no denying that mistakes are made each and every day in science. And that is because humanity is not perfect, nor will it ever be. We cannot change the past. We can only hope to build upon it with the relationships we pick up along the way. I'm glad the Laxes were able to find closure through this whole experience. And I know Henrietta is smiling down at them from above. If not, then from the many vials in the freezer scattered all throughout the earth. I'm Ron Dingle. Thanks again for stopping by, and have a great rest of your night.